Awesome. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to your first day of Online Data Science Bootcamp. You're part of the part-time cohort that starts July 6th today. And yeah, I'm so excited for you guys to start this journey. As I said before recording, you're going to get a lot of information right now. So not to worry, anything that's super important, I'll say over and over again. But yeah, my name is Ish. I'm going to be your cohort lead or instructor for the next 10 months, which sounds crazy. So yeah, all right. So what we're gonna go through for this next like 45 minutes to an hour, we're gonna talk through the curriculum roadmap. We're gonna introduce your support team, myself and Dara. We're going to talk about expectations, which includes, as we see here, code of conduct, graduation requirements, projects and blogs, and also a repeat policy. Talk a little bit about community, and then also what to do to get started. Sound good? All right. So first, what you're all here for, learning data science. So this is our roadmap. This course is split up into 5 modules. Each module for you guys is going to be 8 weeks long. It's going to be 6 weeks of instruction followed by 2 weeks of project. And that's the structure for each module. So mod 1 is going to be an introduction to data with Python and SQL. Mod 2 is where we'll get into a little bit of statistics, things like A/B testing, and finally linear regression. Mod 3, which is my favorite mod, we talk about machine learning. Mod 4, you're going to talk about big data, deep learning, natural language processing, which is huge, recommendation systems, time series analysis. Mod 4 is going to be like a little bit of everything when it comes to like advanced topics. And finally, Mod 5 will be your capstone project. So Mod 5 is going to be different from the rest where there's no like weeks of instruction, but it's just going to be 8 weeks of you working on a capstone project. Do we have any questions about the curriculum so far? Yeah, if these words sound super foreign to you, that's completely okay, because we're going to get to them. All right. So we went through the curriculum, but what we're really learning here is how to think like a data scientist. Thinking like a data scientist includes reading error messages. You're not going to get everything right the first time. Actually, you're going to get things wrong the first time, maybe like 95% of the time. So it's all about figuring out what you did wrong and working on how to fix that. And then you slowly get better over time. Your Googling skills. Let me just say, like my about 2+ years of doing data science, I've been getting really, really good at Google. Sometimes you just need to like figure out what are the right words to put into your search. Yeah, I think I can like solve a problem in like 5 minutes compared to like 45 minutes when I first started. Being data scientist and also just in the world of programming, things are always changing and always evolving. And so it's really, really important that you learn how to find outside resources and implement them in what you're doing. It's impossible for us to teach you everything that's out there. I don't know everything that's out there. So being able to find something online that seems cool and interesting and being able to read up about it and use that in like your projects or your work, that's a really huge skill as well. And then finally, having a process when you're stuck. And this is different for everyone. Some people, have to walk away for a while. This also brings to mind different learning styles. Like some people like to, look something up on Google versus looking something up on YouTube. YouTube is actually a really, really great resource. There are a bunch of like videos like teaching people how to code or talking through different coding concepts. So yeah, you're gonna slowly figure out your processes when you get stuck on something. And if that takes a little longer, I'm here to help with that. So this is a funny meme. Usually we're like the top picture. If something doesn't work, why doesn't it work? You're gonna end up Googling a bunch of stuff, finding a bunch of solutions on YouTube. And what is really important is that when you get things working, you ask yourself what's in the second picture. Why does it work? And that's a really, really important part of learning how to code and figuring things out and just getting used to the way of programmatic thinking. Cool. So this is what our timeline looks like. It looks pretty intense. I feel like we're pretty lucky because we go through the new year, which sounds crazy right now, but we get a bunch of holidays. So every part-time cohort gets 2 week-long breaks. And this comes after module 2 and after module 4. And on this calendar, our cohort breaks are at the end of October here, 26th to 30th, and in the beginning of March. And don't worry about taking these dates down because we have a Google Calendar where I'll show you that all these dates are taken down later. So you don't have to remember these. But we also have breaks for Thanksgiving and a 1 week break for Christmas and New Year's. And don't worry about the break like taking away a week of your time. We actually account for that in our calendars. So you don't have to worry about that 1 week being lost. Other than that, coming up in 2 months, we have, I think this is Labor Day. We have MLK Day, I think this is President's Day. Yeah, those are all our main holidays. And then another important date to note that will be on the calendar as well is career coaching begins at the beginning of April. So you're each going to receive a career coach that's going to guide you through the job search process, and that process starts the beginning of April. And then you'll slowly graduate during this time window, and then we'll have a huge ceremony where you guys all become fully fledged data scientists in June. Any questions about our timeline? I see Eric, yeah. Because I don't see everyone's faces, if you have a question, feel free to come off mute and just ask it. I'm someone who likes to be interrupted, so please do that.
I have a quick question before we continue. So is this whole orientation just for part-time students? Because I'm a full-time student, but
oh yeah, this orientation for part-time students.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw there was like an invitation to it, and I just assumed that it was just another thing that we had to do.
Oh, no worry. It's kind of confusing because I know you see both events, but don't worry about it. Feel free to stay. Feel free to leave if you want.
All right, well, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Cool. Again, I'm going to show you later where our Google Calendar is, and all these dates are on that calendar. Awesome. So introducing your support team. Dara, why don't you go first?
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Dara. I am the ed coach for this cohort, for the part-time cohort. And just to give you a little bit about my role as your ed coach, we'll talk a little bit about that more later. But my role is to be your non-technical partner. So, and just sort of throughout your entire journey here at Flatiron. The ed coaches, there's a whole team of us. We really aim to support and challenge our students to make forward progress in pursuit of your goals. I would imagine that all of you came here for a particular reason, that you have goals around why you're here and completing the program. So I really focus on working with students to create study habits that are going to support those goals that you have, and troubleshooting any challenges that come up, like procrastination, time management, productivity, all of those things that we as humans deal with on a regular basis. So looking forward to getting to know all of you a little bit more later.
Thanks, Dara. So for a little bit of background, I actually was a student at Flatiron School, and I did not have someone like Dara, and I really, really wish I did. So I hope that you guys take advantage of that. So a little bit about me. I will be your cohort lead. I'll lead your study groups and also take your one-on-ones. Bit of my background, I went to school for math and economics. Didn't really figure out what I was gonna do with that. So I jumped around here and there. I worked a little bit in finance. I did sales before I found Flatiron School. I was a student back in 2018, which is crazy. And right after I graduated as a student, I started teaching on campus in New York. So I actually taught the in-person program up until this month, where I started teaching on the online team. So yeah, so I have experience as a student. I'm happy to talk about, dealing with that because I've been through it as well. So yeah, that's about me. Cool. So as I mentioned, we'll be doing one-on-ones every week with me. So you guys are entitled to a 30-minute one-on-one every week. And this is something that you can schedule with me. I know some people like to, be more organized and have more of a schedule. So feel free to let me know if you want to set up something that's recurring, and I can definitely do that for you. If not, I actually do have a meeting booking link that I'll show you where that is later, that you can book one-on-ones whenever you need. And you get one 30-minute session a week. So how to best use one-on-ones? I think one-on-ones are going to be the most effective if you come with questions, so that I know so we have something to work on. In my experience, the most successful one-on-ones are ones that like students actually send me questions beforehand, so I can organize my thoughts and organize different resources, so that the one-on-ones will be um, a lot more effective that way. Cool. Also, during one-on-ones, we can also do knowledge checks. So even if you don't really have anything to ask, or if you're not stuck on anything, one-on-ones can be a really, really good opportunity to just, check for understanding. So for certain sections, I actually do have like lists of interview questions that people do ask during interviews. So when we get to those sections, you can use one-on-ones, and I'll just ask you these interview questions to make sure that, you at least know what you need to know for the job search. Lastly, during one-on-ones, we can also do a little bit of pair programming. And pair programming is a concept that hopefully you will get a little more familiar with a few weeks from now, but it's basically where we can work on something together. And the act of pair programming is actually very, very popular in some tech companies, where you have, two minds working on one problem. And so getting used to working with someone else on an issue, or like fixing a bug or something, it's actually like surprisingly a really huge skill. So during some one-on-ones, we might work on things like that. And this next slide is for Dara.
Awesome. This is my favorite slide. So the emotional journey of creating anything great. I love talking about this with new students, because that's what you're all here to do, right? You're all here to create something great, whatever that might be in your own life. And most people, when they're on this kind of journey, start over on the left-hand side there at "this is the best idea ever," and expect like this really nice, steady uphill journey. But for most of us, it looks a little bit more like the curvy, bumpy line that you see on your screen there. So, but I've got some really fantastic news for all of you. And that is that, like, we are all here together. We are all in this together. We are your bridge across the dark swamp that you see down there. So I'm here, your instructor Ish is here. You are all here together to help and support each other. And I want you all to know that this is the place to reach out and ask for support when you need it. If you feel yourself sliding down into that dark swamp, if you see that starting to happen, we are all here for you. And I don't know if you all have heard the expression, "a rising tide lifts all boats," but when everybody works together, everybody has a better and more positive experience, and that goes for learning here at Flatiron as well. So this is a challenging program. Everyone is here to learn. We do not expect you coming here knowing everything, otherwise why would you be here? But what we do expect is that you all rely on and support each other. That's why this cohort is here. That is why we have this group of students. We didn't actually used to do cohorts. Students used to go through this program just kind of one-on-one individually. And we realized the benefit of other folks being able to work together, learning from each other, and really helping to support each other to grow and learn along the way. So this is the place to ask questions, ask for help when you're feeling confused or frustrated, or any of the other things that come up along the way. More often than not, if you have a question about something, somebody else probably has the same question, and they're just waiting either to get brave enough themselves, or for somebody else to be brave and just jump in and ask it. So by jumping in and asking questions like that, you'll not only be helping yourself, but you'll be helping the other students in the cohort as well. So as I mentioned before, as your ed coach, I am here, in a non-technical aspect to help support and challenge all of you. And so let me kind of quickly talk a little bit about ed coaching and how we'll work together. So I will hold an initial kickoff session with each of you. You can schedule your session with me using the link on your Learn homepage. And on our ed coaching calls, we'll take a break from like the technical stuff, although I love learning about data science from my students. and check in on how you're doing. I'm a great accountability partner. I'm here to cheer you on, help keep everybody motivated, provide a space to kind of talk through any challenges or blockers that come up. You know, we're all humans, life happens to everyone. Just to give you a sense of sort of like what some of the common topics are for ed coaching sessions, they include things like building good study habits so that you can get the most out of this program, managing your time and your energy so that you can juggle work and life and Flatiron with a little bit more ease in a way that's going to be sustainable over the course of the next 10 months. Strengthening your presentation skills so that you will be more comfortable explaining all of these technical, interesting things that you're learning about data science to non-technical audiences, someone like me or perhaps future coworkers. So there are lots of different things that you can bring to your ed coaching sessions. And that's something that, you know, we can talk about one-on-one, especially, you know, in our first session about what you think might be the most useful for you. The ed coaching sessions are here for you. They are completely optional. It's up to you to decide whether you want to utilize them or not. As part-time students, you all have up to one ed coaching session with me available to you each month. And they're really tailored to you. So we'll talk about what's going to be the most supportive and helpful for you each time we meet. And that's about it. Does anybody have, I'm going to pause here and just ask if anybody has any questions about ed coaching or anything else that I've shared. Okay, awesome.
Thanks, Dara. All right, we're gonna move on to a little bit more serious stuff, expectations. So we're gonna go through each of these a little more in depth later, but we're gonna talk about our code of conduct, graduation requirements, our weekly assignments and study groups, blogging, projects, and then the mod repeat policy. So code of conduct, this is in 5 phrases of our code of conduct, so take a moment and read this. Flatiron believes that our community should be open for everyone. We're committed to providing a friendly, safe, and welcoming environment for all, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, disability, ethnicity, religion, preferred operating system, programming language, or text editor. The idea of learning together as a community is baked into the Flatiron philosophy, and we strive to be a place where we can achieve more together than we could ever achieve alone. So there's an expectation. We expect all faculty, teachers, employees, mentors, students, guests, friends, everyone involved with the school to help us create a safe and positive environment for everyone. So I think if we just, maintain this idea and spirit of, being a positive spirit, we'll be good. Graduation requirements. So there are 2 main things that we need to graduate. Throughout this course, you're going to be writing blog posts, and I'll talk a little bit more about blogging, I think, in a little bit, but you need to publish 7 blog posts. And aside from that, or actually no, before I move on from that, out of the 7 blog posts, 5 of the blog posts are going to be related to your project. So every time you complete a project, you have to write a blog post to accompany that. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then you also have to pass your project reviews. So at Flatiron, there are no tests or exams. You're evaluated based on your project. So every project has a rubric that you'll be provided with. And so I'm gonna be the one that's gonna see if your project meets those minimum requirements, and you just have to pass those. Cool. So this is what a week looks like. So based on the form that I'd sent out last week, the most popular choices for study group days are Monday and Thursday. So this is definitely subject to change. If not enough people are showing up for a study group, I can definitely throw out another survey and see what's a better option. But as of right now, our study groups are going to be Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. With the exception of this week. I know it's a little confusing, but this week we're going to meet on Wednesday, because just usually we're Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, but for some reason it came out that people wanted Monday, Thursday, so we're going to do that. But this week it's going to be Wednesday, but from next week and moving forward, it's going to be Monday and Thursday. And so I'm going to show you all the Google Calendar later, but on the calendar, you'll see what sections we'll be going through for the week. And every week will be 2 sections. And so the expectation is that you're going to finish the allocated sections by the end of the week. So for example, this week, you just have section 1. So hopefully by this Sunday, you're going to be completed with section 1 material. And then next week will be sections 2 and 3. So next Sunday, hopefully we'll be done with material for section 2 and 3. Any questions on like what a week in the life looks like?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Just to confirm, is the section the same as a module? I'm guessing not. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand.
good question. I guess there's no context here. I'll show you later, but yeah, you'll see that each mod is split up into 10 sections. So I'll show you guys what that looks like later, but yeah, we're definitely not doing 2 mods in a week. It's gonna be 2 sections, and I'll show you what that looks like later on. Great question. Anything else? Cool. So blogging, which is what I was going to get back to. So blogging is really important. I think that, so let's see, I started when I was a student, I never considered myself a writer. I'm not really good at like putting my feelings into words and like writing things, and literature is just never my thing. But taking something that you've done and something that you're starting to like get excited about learning or you're passionate about and putting that into words is a completely different experience. I will admit that my first 2 blogs, not great, but through that experience, I learned to enjoy writing and telling people about what I was doing. So for your blog, you kind of have options of where you want to do this. On Learn, you'll see that there's a tab on top that says blog, and you can publish your blogs there. A lot of students have opted to post their blog somewhere more public. So when I was a student, I actually put my blog up on medium.com. And if you're not familiar, that's just like a website where you can post stories. And yeah, so just let me know where you decide to post your blogs and we can figure that out. So as I mentioned before, 5 of your blogs will be connected to your projects. However, before we get to that, I hope that you all write your first blog post soon, like in this first 2 weeks. I think that'd be really great. If you write your blog about how you got to data science or how you found data science, or basically in an introduction to you and how you decided to get started with Flatiron School. I think that would be really great as a first blog. And as I mentioned before, you can choose to do that on Learn or on Medium. I would just say that if you decide not to do it on Learn, to let me know so I can help, so I can keep track of your blogs. But also, there's some pros and cons there. I think having your blog on Medium gives random people a chance to come across your blog. And in the future, when you're writing things that are slightly more technical or impressive, I think having other people read that could be really cool. I, for example, made like $2 on Medium last month for posting technical articles from my technical article that I wrote like 2 years ago too. So definitely an option. Cool. Any questions about blogs? I can definitely go more in depth at another study group. Awesome.
Yeah, I have a question.
Mhm.
Also, you can do it on GitHub, right? I saw there was instructions about how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can.
Is that more public than Medium? And does Medium cost money to join?
So I don't know if it's more public than Medium per se. I know that Medium has like this search engine optimization set up such that like it always comes up when you Google things. So for example, if you were to Google my name, like my Medium stuff comes up first. So I'm not too sure about the comparison between GitHub and Medium. Medium is a very good tool for like, you can discover a lot of really awesome data science articles written on Medium. And so to be part of that community, I think there's a plus to that, which is why I really like Medium. But yeah, you can definitely use GitHub as well. I think GitHub, it has like a more professional, or like a more, not professional, but a more like codey air to it, I think. And it will be discovered by people who are already more technical as well, I think. You definitely have options. Sound good? Great question. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more about blogging, or if anyone has any questions at any time, feel free to let me know. All right. Next, projects. So as I mentioned before, projects are what you're going to be evaluated on. So every module, you have to do a project. And as I mentioned before, every module is 8 weeks, of which the last 2 weeks is spent doing your project. And so you're going to spend 2 weeks working on a project, and you'll be given a rubric. I'll tell you what you have to do for this project, and it'll basically put together all the material that you had learned the 6 weeks prior. So after the 2 weeks and you have a project deadline, what's going to happen is that you have 2 weeks after this deadline to schedule a project review with me. And I'll show you where to schedule that review as well. So in that 2 weeks where you're scheduling your project review, if we have a review somewhere between these 2 weeks, and let's say you didn't meet one of the requirements, you have until 2 weeks after that first deadline to meet that requirement. Does that make sense? So there's kind of like a softer deadline that you submit your project, and then there's a deadline 2 weeks after that you have to have a project that meets all the requirements. And between those two deadlines, you'll meet with me and I'll tell you if you need to fix anything. Sound good? And basically, once you've passed this project review, so let's say like you have your project review at right in between those two deadlines. If I say that you pass a project, you don't have to worry about it anymore. And you pass them on and you can move on. However, if you don't meet the requirements at the end of that second deadline, we'll have to talk about the mod repeat policy, which I think is the next slide. Questions on projects? Cool. Projects, I think the fact that Flatiron is very project-based is a huge plus, because these are projects that you get to put on your resume and talk about at job interviews. And I think that's like it's an awesome thing. Cool. Something slightly more serious, the module repeat policy. So as I mentioned before, at the end of each mod or phase of a curriculum for us mod, students have to pass this final assessment, which is in our case, this project review. And so if you fail to pass the evaluation within that allotted time frame, which is 2 weeks after the first deadline, you'll be required to repeat the module fully by transferring to a new cohort. So very likely it'll be the cohort that's that's starting right after you started. So something to note is that there is no additional charge to repeat one module once. So let's say module 1, you're really trying to get the hang of coding and like you're just maybe taking a little longer. There's no extra cost, there's no extra money needed for you to repeat the first mod. However, let's say you get through mod 1 the second time, and then you get to mod 2, mod 3, and mod 4, something just like, I don't know, life happens, and and then you don't pass the mod 4 project. There are other options that we have to look into. You are not able to repeat another mod another time. So basically, you're only given one free repeat. Cool. Yeah, and for the terms of this repeat and options for changing pace, and by changing pace, I mean that, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Flatiron School also offers a self-paced program that doesn't meet twice a week. So that's what we mean by changing paces. So the terms do vary based on which version of the catalog that you signed at enrollment. So you can just read your own documents and see what the conditions are. Sound good? Cool. Because it will depend on which version of the catalog you signed, and that will be the policy that you will be held to. Awesome. Next, we're going to talk about community. So in my opinion, your classmates are probably the most important contacts you will have. Right now, as you're going through the program together, you get to share this really unique experience. In my experience, I think like the people that I've met at Flatiron have been like the most beneficial networking. I don't know, they've just been the people that are most supportive through this process of getting into a new field. So I've seen like hundreds of students graduate, and maybe not so much with the first jobs, but a lot of their like second jobs have been through knowing other Flatiron people at other companies. So that's really awesome. I know a lot of people who have gone through interviews or basically just networking on LinkedIn, and they find that, you know, there's a Flatiron alumni working at this company, and that's often really, really helpful because Flatiron community, we vouch for each other. So yeah, so it really all starts with you guys, your cohort. So it really starts from building this community today. So I really hope that you all, you know, become friends because we're going to be spending a lot of time together, 10 months together. So yeah, get to know each other. And we'll have this meet your classmates session right after this as well. Cool. So with community, we got to talk about Slack. So I hope that you all are already on Slack. I think almost everyone is. If you're not yet on Slack, let me know right before we log off. So Slack is a tool that we use to talk to each other. It's organized in channels, so you can participate in groups that are relevant to you. And this Flatiron School Slack channel is massive. So we don't just have students from online data science, we have actually students from full-time in-person data science that are on this Slack channel too. We have students from all the cohorts on this Slack channel. We also have like software engineering, UI UX design students, we have cybersecurity students all on this one Slack channel. So if you just find the right channel, sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming, but sometimes you can find the right channels. You can find interest groups. There are a bunch of like fun channels with like pictures of dogs on them. So those channels are all there. Later this week, after we've settled in a little, I'll also share some channels that you're gonna find helpful, like maybe some like Python specific channels or ones that have like post interesting data science articles. I'll send those out probably later this week or next week. So our class Slack channel is super important. All announcements and cohort communications will be posted there. So I highly, highly recommend that each of you download the Slack desktop app. So they have like a Mac app and they also have a PC app. So so you're not just like using it in your internet browser, just so you can get all the notifications because all of the communication is gonna come through Slack. I also have Slack on my phone, so I receive notifications in there as well. Maybe not super necessary if you wanna like, you know, keep your work and life separate, but I have it on my phone. One more thing I want to mention is that you can also tag @DS Support Squad on Slack when you post questions on Slack, which Slack is also for you to ask questions, and someone from the team will get back to you during normal business hours. And if you've not already done so, say hello. So speaking of DS Support Squad, that tag will basically notify the entire data science team, which is here. This is our online data science team. There are 10 of us who are online instructors. You see me in the bottom left. So all a super awesome team of people. You might come across them posting in our Slack channels once in a while, answering questions. If there are a lot of questions, they might fill in for study groups if I, for some reason, can't make it. But yeah, I hope that you guys get to interact with them at some point because they are all awesome people. Any questions? Cool. So a quick checklist for week 1. We're gonna have our Meet Your Classmates session right after this. And for that, I'm actually not gonna be here, so I give you guys a chance to meet each other first. Say hello in Slack if you haven't. You're gonna wanna schedule your one-on-ones with me and the kickoff call with Dara, and I'll show you where to do that in a little bit. I'll show you where the calendar is so you can take note of all the important dates and you can get started on lessons and labs. So right now what I'm gonna show you is where you can do all of these things. So I have bookmarked. This is Learn. Mine's gonna look a little different because I have more stuff on it. But this is your Learn page. If you click on the logo at the top left, it brings you to the home page, which is this. If you scroll down, this is where you're gonna see the study groups. And this is where it could be confusing because sometimes you might see some other cohort study groups. So just make sure that you look out for our cohort name, which is 070620PT. So I'll always prepend that to our study group names. This is my streak because that's my completion rate because I'm not a student, so don't worry about that. So if you scroll down enough, you'll see the calendar here. So this will, you'll see this week I mentioned our study groups are on Wednesday. And then for next week and the weeks following, they're all going to be Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So you can see all of that here. Also here, you'll see that I've listed which sections are going to be for the week. What I really recommend you do is click this little plus Google Calendar button and add it to your own calendar. That's just so you know you have that, so you don't have to keep referring back here. On this page, you're going to find everything that you need. Once the recordings start, I'll put the recordings over here. And these are important resources. So these are the links where you can schedule meetings with myself and Dara. They're all linked here. This is the About Me survey that I sent out. I think there's still a couple of you who haven't filled it out, so please do. Student services emails, you shouldn't have to email student services without, if you feel like you need to talk to student services about anything, maybe let me know first. I don't know, up to you. This link is going to be really interesting. This is basically a repository of alternate lectures. So all of the lectures and study groups that all cohorts have gone through are recorded. So this is just a repository of all of them. So everyone learns differently, everyone teaches differently. So maybe if you don't like my teaching style, I'm not offended. You can click into here and find other instructors' lectures on the same topic. So you can, it's kind of intense, but if you go in, you'll see like different study groups based on like the module and the section, and then you have YouTube video links. So that's going to be really helpful, especially if you find that like maybe my teaching style doesn't really work for you. But also if my teaching style doesn't work for you, please let me know. So yeah, so everything is going to be on this homepage. And to get started, there is this Getting Started playlist. So I hope that, I think before you even start with the curriculum, and I think, Sawyer, you were asking about the sections. Was it Sawyer? Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So you're asking about the sections. This is where you see the sections. So if you click into curriculum, if you don't see this stuff yet, make sure you click switch materials and find module 1. You'll see all the sections listed here. So typically each week will be about 2 sections. What was I gonna say? Yeah, before you even get started with your, go through the welcome stuff, do the getting started stuff, and then there's a playlist here that's gonna be really, really helpful for you to like set up everything on your computer. So there are videos for Mac and PC. So for setting up Anaconda, basically like Python, your notebooks for your computer. So this is gonna be really important. So I highly recommend you start with this. Any questions? I'll post all of this like important information in the Slack channel as well. But any questions? Because I'm about to hop off and let you guys meet each other. Cool, awesome. Well, I am really excited to get started on this data science journey. Please feel free to, I know I said that like one-on-one start on week 2, but feel free to schedule one just to say hi, you know. That'll be great too. What else? Yeah, anything you need, reach out to me on Slack and I will let you guys meet each other.
Awesome. Thanks, Yash. All right.